Welcome back, Wogglers. So we're still talking about blueprints here. If you haven't watched my previous videos on blueprints, I do highly recommend it. Today specifically, we're going to be going over all of the options that you have in this During tab once you've created a blueprint transition. All right, so I just want to show you how to get there. So the first thing you're going to do is open up your blueprint, hit that settings gear or setup gear in the top right corner, and then choose underneath process management. You're going to be choosing blueprints. Then open up the one that you've created. All right, so once you've gotten in here, you've got all your lovely blueprint transition buttons. You click on one, and usually it defaults to the Before tab, which we've already talked about. And now we're really going to go over all of the options in this During. One of the things to remember is that you have a lot of options. So the first thing you can do is you can add fields. So as you can see up here, you can add fields and mark them as mandatory to fill out, or you can make them optional. But to add fields to a transition button, you can only add 10 fields to a transition button. So if you have a lot of information in the course of the deal process or whatever record you're creating this on, throughout your process, if you have a lot of information to gather, try and spread it out as much as you can. If not, create parallel transitions in the places you need more than 10. All right, so when you add, this little pop-up happens. So fields, usually it's going to default to the record that you've created this blueprint around. However, you do have the ability to pull in information from associated records. So for example, if you need someone to verify information on the associated account record, you can pull that in there. You can have them fill that out. If it's not filled out on the account record, it will show up as blank and they will be required to collect a phone number for the account. If there is a phone number on the account record, it will fill that in and then they will have a chance to verify it with the person they're talking to. All right, so that's pretty much it for fields. You can add tags. So you can require someone to add a tag to the record. If tags is something that you use, you can make it mandatory or an optional thing. A message. So we have kind of in passing gone over messages, but in a message, this is basically just text that shows up when the blueprint pop-up, when you clicked that transition button on your record, the blueprint pop-up, you can have messages go to your team or the user that is going through the blueprint. One of the things to remember is you can type something, and then if you highlight it and then do Control B, it will bold it, which is kind of nice. So if there's something that you definitely need your user to pay attention to, you can type it in bold. You can also pull information from records like merge fields, very similar to how you can do in email templates. So you can say, this deal has, and then you push the pound symbol, and from the deal you can say, next step, you can pull that in. Also very similar to the email templates, you can pull things not only from the deal record, but other associated records. So from the account or the contact. Something that I like to do personally is occasionally if I'm typing something that's very important, I'll put the user's name here and I'll say user's name, don't forget. So that for me, if I'm a user and I'm going through the blueprint and I click on the transition, it'll say, Jess, don't forget, insert message here. So that's some fun things you can do with the messages. The next thing we can do is add associated items. Now, what this will do is it will require the user to create an associated record. So for example, in this one, what we've done elsewhere in our blueprint is we've required them to create records for hotel bookings or travel accommodations. Something else that you can do is you can require someone to create a task for themselves. And you can require them to give it a due date. So that's something that you can do as well. here with the associated items. Now, we'll go through those real quick. Notes is an associated items. You can require someone to put up an attachment. You can require them to create other associated records, tasks, meetings, invoices, any other modules that have a related list on the side. So there you go, that's what an associated item is. Then we can create checklists. So for example, you can give it a title, and then you can say, do this, you know, don't forget this, do this thing if applicable, and you can make this one optional. You add it in. One kind of quirk about checklists is if you put something here and then try and add something else, or actually if you try and like move away or save, this won't actually save, this one down here, until you click this add button. Unless it looks like this as like a little check mark bar, it's not officially saved on the checklist. So even though it looks like this might be required, you can move away from it, and that's a completed checklist. All right, so let's see, that was associated items, fields. Once you've added a checklist, you no longer have that option. So it's only one checklist per transition button. Now, widgets we can get into. If you have created a widget in your CRM system, you can use this blueprint to be able to access that widget. And again, if you've created a kiosk in your CRM system, you can use this blueprint transition to access that kiosk. All right, that pretty much does it for the during options of all the things that you can add here in this transitionary period. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Woggle woggle.